What if the woman you left behind in a war-torn world wasn't just alive, but hunting you through space? Darren thought he'd escaped. Alone. Safe. Free. But when his alien wife, once thought dead, appears inside his locked ship, everything changes. She's wounded, burning from the inside and claiming a bond that can't be broken. Now they're trapped together, and her blood holds a secret that could save or destroy them both. This isn't just survival. This is destiny written in stars and fire. Would you run or face the fire within? If you are new here, then please subscribe this channel and show thumbs up by liking the video. Now let's move to this wonderful story. Darren Volan sat alone in the cockpit of his ship, the dusk trail, breathing hard in the dim blue light of the control panel. Outside the window, space stretched endlessly, silent, still, and cold. Behind him, the planet Syrah 8 burned like a dying ember. Smoke and flames rose from the jungle world, where only hours before Darren had barely escaped with his life. His hand still shook as he wiped sweat from his forehead. The ship was damaged, hull cracked, systems failing, but it was flying. He was safe, or so he thought. He leaned back in the chair and closed his eyes, trying to forget the screams, the fire, and the sounds of the battle. The mission had gone wrong. What was supposed to be a diplomatic supply run turned into a bloodbath. He didn't understand why. All he knew was that he had to run, and now for the first time in hours he could breathe. Then he heard it. A sound. Faint, but clear. Like claws brushing against metal. Darren opened his eyes, his muscles tensing. He turned his head slowly toward the back of the cockpit. The radar showed nothing. No life forms detected, no movement on board. Still, the sound came again, closer this time. He reached for his sidearm. His fingers trembled as they closed around the grip. "Ship," he whispered. "Seal the cockpit." The soft mechanical voice of the ship answered, calm and cold. Seal command failed. Manual override active. His heart stopped. Someone had overridden the controls. Someone was on board. He stood, moving quietly, gun raised, eyes scanning the shadows. The flickering emergency light made it harder to see, but he noticed a shape. Low to the floor, unmoving at first. Then it stirred. A woman crouched in the shadows. Her breathing was fast, almost wild. Her skin shimmered silver in the low light. Blood mixed with sweat. Across her face, faint tattoos glowed softly like fire under glass. Her eyes, strange, bright and alien, locked onto his. Darren froze. "No," he whispered. It was her, Naira. The woman he thought had died during the raid. The alien warrior he had married, been forced to marry, during a treaty ceremony on Syrah 8. She wasn't supposed to survive. He saw her fall in the jungle. He left her behind. But now she was here, inside his ship. "You ran," she said, her voice low and rough like the growl of a wounded animal. He stepped back, aiming the gun. "How did you get in?" She rose slowly like a predator testing the air. Her claws curled at her sides, long and sharp. Her body was covered in burns and cuts, but her strength was still there, hidden under the damage. "I followed the bond." Darren shook his head. That was politics. A fake marriage to stop a war. "Not fake to me. You're insane," he snapped. "I saved your life and you tried to claim me like I was property. That's not love." Her eyes narrowed. "You broke the bond." "Stay back," he shouted, raising the blaster. Naira didn't flinch. She just tilted her head and smiled. Not kindly, not warmly. It was the smile of someone who hunted. "Your weapon is empty," she said. Darren pulled the trigger. Nothing happened. His stomach sank. She was right. He dropped the blaster and backed into the cold metal wall. "Listen," he said quickly. "You're hurt, I can help you, just calm down." She didn't move closer. Not yet. But her eyes, still glowing faintly, were locked onto him. They weren't filled with hate, he noticed. They held something else, pain. Deep pain, the kind that stays even after the fire ends. I'm not here to kill you, she said. But I was not done with you. Then, without warning, her knees gave out. She fell forward. Darren rushed to catch her, instinct kicking in before fear could stop him. Her skin was burning hot. Her body shook. He laid her gently on the floor. Unsure of what to do, she whispered something, but he couldn't hear. Her breath was fast, shallow. Her claws twitched slightly, even in sleep. Darren stared at her, heart racing. How had she survived? How had she found him? The last time he saw her, the jungle was exploding behind her, and she was bleeding. He had assumed she was gone. He turned back to the control panel, tried every command he knew. The same answer came, each time. Manual override engaged, lockdown in progress. They were trapped together in the cockpit. No escape, no help, just her and him. He knelt beside her again and studied her face. The red marks along her arms had faded, but her skin still glowed in patches. Whatever was happening inside her was beyond his understanding. Human medicine wouldn't be enough. Darren opened the med kit and hovered a scanner over her chest. The numbers made no sense. Heart rate off the charts, internal heat rising fast. Her body was shifting, changing. She's not just hurt, he muttered to himself. She's transforming. The ship's voice chimed in as if to confirm his fear. Warning, elevated biological activity. Female subject entering reproductive cycle. He stared at the scanner, then at her. This can't be real, he said under his breath. But it was. The sealed cockpit was growing hotter, and the bond he thought he'd broken was burning back to life, and there was nowhere left to run. Darren sat against the wall, staring at the alien woman lying just a few steps away. Naira's body was still glowing faintly in the dim light of the cockpit. Her breathing was shallow but steady. The scanner's readings made no sense to him. Her heart was too fast, her body temperature too high, and strange signals pulsed through her system. He had seen injuries before, but this was something else. Something deeper, more dangerous. She had followed him. Through space. Across a burning planet. Into a sealed ship. That fact alone twisted his thoughts into knots. Darren wasn't sure what scared him more. The idea that she survived just to find him, or that some part of her really believed they were still connected. The silence between them grew heavier by the minute. The air felt warmer. Not just from the broken systems. Something in the room was changing. Or maybe it was just her. Naira stirred suddenly. Her eyes opened, glowing even brighter now. She looked at him, not with hate, not even with anger, but with something else. Something raw. Why did you leave me? She asked, her voice soft but steady. Darren swallowed. You don't understand. I didn't have a choice. You always have a choice, she replied, and you chose to run. He looked away. We were in the middle of a war. You think I wanted to leave? I thought you were dead. I wasn't, she said. I was trying to reach you. Her voice was quieter now, almost weak. She was in pain, and not just from her wounds. He could see it in her eyes. The strain, the heat, the tight way she held herself. Whatever her body was going through, it was only getting worse. He stood and grabbed a cooling pack from the med kit. Carefully, he approached and held it out to her. Here, put this on your chest, it might help with the heat. She took it from him, her hand brushing his. Even that small touch sparked something strange between them, like electricity in the air. She flinched slightly, breathing in sharply. Your touch, she whispered. It makes the heat worse. He stepped back quickly. Then keep your distance. I'm trying, she said, lowering the cooling pack onto her chest. But it's harder than you think. The bond, it's not something we turn off. Darren rubbed his face with both hands. You keep saying that. The bond. What does it even mean? She sat up slowly, her skin still glowing beneath the cooling pack. When we were joined on Syra 8, when I marked you with blood, It wasn't just for ceremony. My people believe in life connections, emotional, physical, mental. When we bond, part of us stays linked. Forever. That was political, he said, frustrated. A peace deal, a performance. Not for me, she said. I chose you. They may have planned it, but I chose you. Darren couldn't find words to answer that. He remembered the moment, yes, standing in the center of her tribe, being pulled into something ancient and sacred. He hadn't understood it then. He barely understood it now. Naira looked at him, her expression softer than before. I know you were scared. I was too. I didn't ask for this life. I was born between worlds, human and Alari. Neither side truly accepted me. But when I met you for the first time, I felt calm. Darren blinked. Calm? Yes, she said, her eyes locking with his. You didn't treat me like a weapon. You were quiet, kind. You listened. He shifted, uncomfortable. That doesn't mean we're connected. Maybe not to you, she replied. But my body remembers. My blood remembers. That's why I'm changing now. Because you're near. Because the bond started and never finished. He stared at her, unsure of what to believe. What happens if this transformation finishes? I don't know, she said honestly. It's never happened with a human before. The heat in the room rose again. A warning flashed on the panel. Critical temperature approaching. Ventilation system offline. We're going to cook in here, he muttered. Naira slowly stood, her legs shaking but holding. There's a way to stop it, but you won't like it. Darren narrowed his eyes. What is it? Our bond calms the fire. When the connection is complete, when it's accepted by both, it balances us. Stops the cycle. You mean? He didn't even want to finish the sentence. No, she said quickly. It's not what you think. It's not about mating. It's about connection, energy, trust, a moment of balance. Darren stepped away. I don't trust you. Naira nodded as if she expected that. Then I will burn. And you might too. They stood there in silence, heat rising between them like a storm. Finally he spoke. If I believe you, if I try to help, and this doesn't work, what happens? Then I die, she said simply, and you will live with that. Her words hit something deep inside him. He had left her once, thinking she was gone, but she wasn't. She had followed him across the stars. She had crawled aboard his broken ship. And now, even as her body burned, she was trying not to hurt him. He stepped forward and held out his hand. What do I do? Just be here, she said. Be still. Let the bond speak. He hesitated, then slowly placed his hand on hers. Her skin burned, but he didn't pull away. He watched as the glow in her face softened. Her breath slowed. The fire inside her seemed to quiet. They didn't speak again. They sat in silence, two broken people bound by something neither fully understood. And in that silence, something between them began to heal. The fire between them was still there, but it no longer tried to destroy. The stillness inside the cockpit didn't last long. Darren sat quietly, his hand still resting near Naira's, when a soft beep broke the silence. A small icon blinked on the edge of the control panel, an incoming signal. It wasn't a regular transmission. The code was hidden, buried in layers of encryption. Darren leaned forward, scanning the data. His face turned pale. It was a stealth trace. Someone had found them. Naira opened her eyes and sat up slowly. What is it? She asked. We're not alone, he said. Someone's tracking this ship. She didn't look surprised. They followed me. They always do. Darren turned to her, confused. Who? My people, she said quietly. Or what's left of them. The ones who want me gone. He frowned. I thought they needed you. They did. But I'm different. I was born to bridge two worlds, Illyri and human. They hoped I would be a weapon. but I couldn't follow their orders, so they tried to erase me. Darren leaned against the wall. You said your mother was human. How did that happen? She was chosen, Naira said. Taken, not by force, but as a gift. Given to the Ilari elders to bear a hybrid child. A child with human instinct and Ilari strength. He stared at her. You were made? She nodded slowly. And when I grew older, they trained me. I fought. I learned. But I felt too much, cared too much. That made me weak in their eyes, so they planned to end me quietly. But you escaped, Darren said. I ran, she replied. They hunted me for years. Then I met you. For the first time, I wasn't a weapon. I was just a person. Darren felt a heaviness in his chest. That's why you bonded with me? Yes, she said. And now they want that bond erased. Suddenly, the ship's warning systems flared. Unknown vessel approaching, speed high-class military. They found us, Darren muttered. And we're not ready. Naira stood slowly, her body stronger now, though scars still marked her arms. There's one chance, she said. One thing that might change everything. She reached into a small pouch at her waist and pulled out a vial. Inside, a thick red liquid glowed faintly, pulsing like a heartbeat. What is that? Darren asked. My blood, she said. Pure. Unbroken. It holds the power they fear. He looked at it with wide eyes. Why do you have it? I brought it for you, she said. If you take it, the bond completes. Not just the emotional connection. A real one. Through blood. Your body will change. Stronger. Faster. More connected to me. You'll feel what I feel. He stepped back. That's insane. I can't become like you. You won't, she said. You'll still be you, but more. Enough to survive what's coming. He stared at the vial, afraid to touch it. And if I don't take it? Then they'll take me, she said. And they'll kill you. Darren rubbed his temples. The ship wasn't ready for a fight. The shields were half dead, weapons barely working. And now a warship was flying toward them, ready to strike. He wasn't a soldier, just a pilot. A man who delivered supplies and avoided trouble. But now trouble had come to him. He took the vial in his hand. It was warm, alive. It almost seemed to pulse with each beat of his heart. What happens when I drink this? You'll feel pain, she said. Then fire, then something else. Something clearer. He met her eyes. Have you ever done this before? No, she said. But it's the only way. Darren hesitated. Every instinct told him to run. But there was nowhere to go. And somehow, deep inside, something in him felt calm, like this choice had already been made. He opened the vial and drank. It burned, like lightning in his throat, fire in his chest. He fell to his knees, gasping, gripping the floor as his vision blurred. He couldn't scream, couldn't breathe. His skin felt like it was being torn apart and rebuilt at the same time. Naira knelt beside him, placing her hands gently on his shoulders. Breathe through it, she said. Let it settle. His muscles shook. His heart pounded like a war drum. And then, just as quickly as it started, the pain changed. It became something else. Heat, light, strength. He could feel everything. He could hear the engine of the ship outside before the scanner even picked it up. He could feel Naira's presence like she was part of him, her emotions, her tension, her fear, her hope. He opened his eyes. They were brighter now, clearer, sharper. He stood slowly. They're close. Yes, she said, standing with him. But now we are ready. The cockpit lights turned red as a new alert sounded. Hostile vessel locked on. Boarding sequence initiated. Darren turned to Naira. We fight? We fight, she said. He grinned, just a little. Together, she smiled back. Always. They weren't just a pilot and a stowaway anymore. Not just human and alien. They were something new, joined by blood, built by fire, ready for whatever came next. And the legacy of that blood was only beginning. The ship rocked violently as the enemy vessel struck its side. Alarms blared through the cockpit and red. Lights flashed across every surface. Darren held the controls tightly, his jaw clenched, eyes sharp. He felt the rumble before it came. Another hit. The enemy had latched on. They were preparing to board. Naira stood beside him, claws extended, her skin glowing with streaks of blue and red. Her breathing was steady, but Darren could feel her emotions through the bond they now shared, focused, fierce, unshaken. The blood he had taken was changing him fast. His thoughts were quicker, movements more precise, and every sound in the ship seemed clearer. But with that came the weight of everything around them. The danger, the fear, the responsibility. There, cutting into the ship, Darren said, checking the scanner. 2 entry points, we have less than a minute. Naira turned to him, her voice calm but firm. You stay at the controls. If they reach this room, we both die. He looked at her. You're still healing. My blood is strong now, she said, and stronger than before. The bond is holding me together. He didn't argue. She was already moving, sprinting down the corridor with the grace of a trained hunter. The door sealed behind her with a heavy thud. Darren locked it from his side and turned back to the screens. Outside, the stars burned bright behind the enemy vessel, a dark ship built for speed and power. It hovered just above the dusk trail, preparing to breach completely. Inside, Darren could hear faint sounds, metal grinding, distant footsteps, energy weapons charging. The fight had begun. Minutes felt like hours. He could hear Naira moving through the corridors, sometimes fighting, sometimes silent. Each time he closed his eyes, he felt her presence like a light in the dark. The bond kept them close even when they were apart. A blast shook the cockpit again. Darren checked the sensors. The enemy ship was charging its core. It wasn't just trying to take them. It was preparing to destroy them. He opened the emergency channel. Naira, we've got a problem. They're going to blow us up. No answer. Naira, he said again, louder. Still nothing. He stood up, unsure if he should leave the controls. Just then, the door hissed open. Naira stepped inside, blood on. Her arms a burn across her shoulder. Her chest rose and fell with exhaustion, but she was alive. They're gone, she said. But the ship... I know, Darren said. They're going to destroy it, and we're in the blast range. We have one chance, she said, moving to the console. The blood is still in the system. I can push it through the ship. Force a short jump. We're not close to a safe zone, he said. We could jump into a rock or into a sun. It's better than dying here. Darren didn't argue. He helped her to the panel. Naira placed her hand on the surface, her skin glowing brighter as her energy moved into the ship. Lights flickered. Systems surged. The ship groaned as if it were alive and in pain. Hold on, she whispered. The stars outside twisted, bent, and then disappeared in a flash of white. Silence. When Darren opened his eyes, they were floating in deep space, alone, safe. The enemy ship was gone. No alerts, no damage reports, just the sound of the ship's hum, quiet and low. He turned to Naira. She had collapsed beside the control panel, her body still, her skin pale. No, 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 he muttered, rushing to her side. He held her gently, feeling the heat of her skin fade. Her breathing was shallow, too shallow. The glow in her tattoos had dimmed. Don't leave me now, he whispered. Not after everything. The ship's voice spoke quietly. Emergency life support remaining 29 minutes. He didn't care. Naira, wake up, he said. You fought for me. You saved us. You don't get to stop now. Nothing. He closed his eyes, forehead pressed to hers. I was afraid of you, afraid of what you were, what this meant. But I see it now. You're not a monster. You're not a weapon. You're the reason we're still breathing. A long moment passed. Then, a small sound. A breath. Her chest rose. Her hand moved. Slowly, her eyes opened, dim but alive. "We made it?" she asked softly. "We made it," he said, smiling in relief. "You did it." She tried to sit up, but he stopped her. "Rest, you need to heal." She looked at him. "You stayed." "I'm not running anymore." Then a light flashed on the panel. An incoming transmission. Darren tapped the screen. A tired-looking woman in an Alliance uniform appeared. "This is Captain Nolan of the Earth Alliance. We picked up your energy signature. We saw the fight. We're sending help." Darren hesitated. "There's someone with me. She's not fully human, but she's not your enemy." The captain didn't flinch. "We know, and we're not here to take anyone. You two just changed everything." The screen went dark. Darren looked at Naira. "You hear that?" She nodded slowly. "It's not over, but we have a chance now." Later, when the rescue ships came and repairs were made, Darren was given a choice: return to Earth as a hero or disappear into the stars. He chose the stars. He and Naira flew together, far from the wars, the noise, and the fear. People told stories about them, about a pilot and a warrior, human and alien, who burned with the same fire. But for them, it was never about legends. It was about the quiet between stars, and the bond that no war could break.